Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Call me Luke if you wish. Today we are doing the Game Week 25 preview. That's right, Game Week 25 already. We just finished 24. If you watched the footy this morning or last night, depending on where you are, it was a football story for the ages, really. If Everton's last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, and they got pretty much a last-minute equaliser to save their face from defeat. So congratulations to them. For me, it ruined my assistant managership on slot, but maybe the glory of football was the winner on the day. Or maybe those people who triple captained Mo Salah. They probably got 80 points this game week alone from that one person. Once again, what more does he need to do to be considered the greatest player in Premier League history? He's already FPL history. Let's have a look at the injury list. First things first, as we lead up to double game week 25, with that man Mo Salah and Liverpool have another double game week against Aston Villa. Speaking of Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins is flagged. He is 16% owned. Expect that to increase over the next few weeks, or few days, I should say. He's got a muscle injury, so nondescript. Double game week coming up. He'll likely be rested against Ipswich if he needs a rest. That could have implications for new members of the Villa team, as we'll talk about a little bit later on. But they need him against Liverpool. But that being said, if Liverpool are going to fall, it would be against Villa rather than Wolves, you'd expect. Anthony Gordon is 21% owned. He's got a hammy injury. We're seeing a lot of players with hammy injuries. It screams toll on the body. I personally am not one that thinks there's too much football going on, but maybe the modern game of football isn't kind to players' bodies. So who knows what's going to happen there. City, they're against City this week in Manchester. They need him to start. Almost guaranteed he'll play. I'm not in the know, so that is not a guarantee, but you'd assume he would. Trent is 32% owned. He's got a muscle injury as well. 75% chance. He could skip Wolves. He might be rested. Wolves and Villa. He didn't start against Everton, which is concerning. You'd want your best team in the Merseyside derby, you'd think, maybe. Although Bradley is a pretty good backup. But yeah, you'd expect him to play at least one of those games, if not two. And if you've got him in your team in a double game week, there's no way you're benching him. So just play him. If you want to transfer him out, think of a transfer as worth 4 points. He's got a double game week. The player you're bringing in, are they going to score more than 4 points of what he would earn in a double? I'm not sure it's worth it, but I'll leave that up to you. Other notable injuries are Kai Havertz is out. I've just learned that before I put all this together. Kai Havertz was out, so he could be out for the end of the season. Flecken's obviously out. Saka's out, but he's coming back in, I think, 3 or 4 game weeks. So once the blank game week 29 happens, then he could very well be a man in our thoughts. Also, Nicholas Jackson is flagged as well. Let's have a look at the shots on target. Usual suspects: Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Isak, Watkins, Madueke, Semenian. The two you can't see there, let's get rid of that for a sec. The two you can't see there, hello, there's my big face, is Cunha and Kluivert down the bottom. So Kluivert's conversion rate is amazing. Cunha's not too bad, but Kluivert is slightly better. 10 goals, 23 shots on target, so it's almost 50-50. Madueke's his shot totals are getting better in terms of percentage on target. Watkins, he needs to up his game this season, I think. Or was last season the anomaly? I'm not entirely sure. Semenyo shooting from everywhere as usual. Alexander Isak, Palmer, Salah, and Haaland. They're the best 4 players in the league at the moment in terms of attacking players. So I think they are sitting rightly on top. Haaland's shots and shots on target are impressive, but the amount of goals he's getting for his shots, it's just not enough, buddy. Yeah, he's getting the ball. Something's not happening. 26 shots off target is interesting this season. So they've definitely been struggling, and clearly he's feeling the pressure from it. Let's have a look at the form over the last 6 weeks. Thank you very much to Fantasy Football Pundit for this beautiful table they've got on their site. If you like stats like this, then go to Fantasy Football Pundit. Based on his hat-trick last week, he's climbed to the top of the table as Chris Wood, closely followed by Foden, who had that really good purple patch recently. Salah, Kluivert, Isak, Haaland, and Mateta are all up there. Gibbs White is sitting there. He's a good player. Good game a few weeks ago. And also when when Forrest did the business, he played very well. And Buemo, the forgotten man of FPL, he's still churning away. His underlyings are good, his points are good. And then Trent's there as well, but he's just not getting those returns that you'd want. That being said, how many returns do you need from someone who's 7 million? He's got 7 returns this season, plus 9 clean sheets. You consider clean sheets a return for a defender, would you? Therefore, it's 16 returns. So, I don't know. I guess there's an argument to make that he's worth the money. It's not for me. I can't get it done, essentially. But even though it's been less than optimal, we'll call it this season, I think it's still... I think he's still got bang for your buck, to be honest, compared to the other 7 million players. So he's on 92 points. We'll see that a little bit later in the grey list, but I think he's second overall for defenders. XGI in the last 6 game weeks, no brainer. Salah is way out in front. Haaland, Palmer, Isak are all just behind, within 2 or 3 of each other. Then it falls down quite dramatically to Brian and Buemo, Watkins, Jackson, Wissa, Fernandez. So those top 4 players well ahead of everyone else in the league in terms of stats, goals, points, shots. It's really across the board currently. And you'd think, considering Cole Palmer's and Chelsea's relatively, I wouldn't say dip in form, but mediocre form over the last few weeks, he could have been quite high and overtaken Haaland in this particular table. Gordon and Fernandez are down there. So Bruno's XA at 4.4 is frightfully low considering what he brings to that Manchester United team. Boy, what would they do for a Chris Wood up front? They'd absolutely love that, wouldn't they? This is new this week, and we might be doing it moving forward. So footystats.org, they do some amazing stats. One of the ones I picked up is the referee cards. This is how many cards each referee gives per match. Anthony Taylor is right out in front, along with Mark Dean, of 4 cards per match, give or take. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to see if this is going to provide us any information that we need for FPL. And I'll put their fixtures next to the players. And out of these top 10, there's only two referees with fixtures this game week. Anthony Taylor has Crystal Palace versus Everton. He gives 4 cards a match. You'd think the cards would benefit the likes of Eze, who takes the free kicks. And he loves he loves drawing a foul. So he'll be looking to do that, and Taylor will be looking to reach into his pocket and give him that. So that's something to consider if you're looking at going with Eze, or if you're trying to get rid of Eze for a Kluivert, for instance. For myself, it enhances the opportunity I was trying to play Mateta. Obviously, I'm going to play him now. I was before, but this really brings it into... makes me think that it's a no-brainer. One of the things interesting about Pawson, he's doing the double game week game that makes it a double, is Villa versus Liverpool at Villa Park. He gives more cards to away teams than he does home teams. So, and there's a couple down the bottom like that as well, but he's quite dramatically does that. Very interesting, actually, considering the amount of cards he gives. So he's guaranteed to give 2 cards to the away team, against the away team. When that says given, I think it's not awarded. So it's given as in like they've benefited from it, from what I can tell. But yeah, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Pawson. So we're looking at Rodgers, we're looking at Watkins, and potentially the likes of Rashford if someone gets injured. Let's have a look at the grey list. So the grey list is 4 players, 2 that are locks, 1 that is a risk, and 1 that is an absolute avoid for the foreseeable future. And the 2 locks are Kirkes and Trent Alexander-Arnold. They've got some great fixtures. They've both got doubles, or they're playing in the blank. Collins, Brentford season is going this well. Collins is the number 1 attacking asset in their defensive line. That's how bad their season's going. Aït-Nouri is playing extremely well, but probably up until game week 28, you don't want to touch him. Running through their stats, as I said earlier, Trent has 7 goals and assists. Kirkes with 5, same with Collins, and Ryan Aït-Nouri with 8. What stands out, obviously, is Trent's got the most XGI by far, but he's not really converting on it. Well, he is, but he's not exceeding it like most people do. But most importantly for him, clean sheets. As we can see on the left there, I get my left and rights mixed up. On the right there, Trent's on 107, just 1 point behind Aina. They've got a real healthy lead over the rest of the pack. Hall's up there in 4th, which is interesting. Kirkes is in 6th, and the other two are well off. Brian Norris' points are actually quite low, considering he's got 8 returns, plus he 3 cleans. That's technically 11 returns. His points are actually quite low. I think he's still muddling in the 60s, to be honest. But anyway, I'll be looking at him later. Midfielders, Kluivert and Buemo. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean, they've got good fixtures. They are technically talisman of their team, and they're both in form, and they're both on pens. I mean, what more needs to be said? 14 goals from Buemo, 11 for Kluivert. They both get some assists, nothing great, and they both got amazing XGI. Why would you not have them? Rodgers has the double. His numbers aren't flash, but he's always there or thereabouts. He looks so good on the ball. And Phil Foden, I would avoid him like the plague for now. Maybe there's an opportunity to get back in after the blank in 34, depending on how they're playing. I'm actually eyeing up Marmoush, but we'll keep that under locks until I look silly and bring him in and he gets injured. But one good thing about Foden is XGI is relatively high for the amount of games he's played. It's higher than Rodgers. And his goals and assists are exceeding that. Only just, though, so 50-50 for me. I compiled this before Kai Havertz was injured, so let's consider he's Mateta. Might look a bit different, but same sort of impact. As we can see with these two, Wissa and I guess we have to say Havertz. Watkins is the risk and Cunha is the avoid, but they've all got the same amount of goals roughly within 2. XGI is relatively the same, but the only thing is Cunha's is a lot less. Expect that to change from game week 28, and their assists are relatively similar as well. So similar players in terms of these stats. Cunha is 4th, Watkins is 5th, Wissa is 6th, and Havertz is 10th. So they're all top 10 forwards in terms of points. The one I said, Mateta, is just behind Wissa on 103. So like for like, really. But yeah, those are the ones I'll go for. I'm probably going to stick with my forwards up until that game week 29, 28, where I think I can get rid of Mateta after his good run and bring in Cunha and set and forget him to 34, I think. That's just me. Obviously, it's dependent on what your team looks like. I don't really want to touch the forwards. I've got Wood. I'll play him sporadically, but I'll keep him because I think he's a season keeper. Same with Alexander Isak, unless he gets injured. But for me, it's not too much of a concern. So the most wanted for this week, so this is who you, the FPL managers, are bringing in as per the FPL website. And a whopping 500,000 people have already brought in Justin Kluivert. Expect that to change over the next 24 to 36 hours until deadline. He's a low price mid. He's probably the best low price mid currently. Cherry's got a great run until game week 33, and he's on penalties. I mean, what more needs to be said? Chris Wood, he got a hat-trick last week. There might be some recency bias there. If you don't have him, I wouldn't bring him in. If you do have him like me, I'll probably keep him, and that's what I'm going to do. He's got Fulham this week, then he's got Newcastle, Arsenal, and City, but then he's got Ipswich in 29. So benching for the next 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending on how you set up, and then captaining. So it's a real Jekyll and Hyde situation. Milos Kerkez, he is the attacking threat in the Bournemouth backline. The Cherries have a great run to game week 33. 225,000 people have brought him in. He's a really good transfer in for the likes of Hall or Aina or Milenkovic, considering their fixtures drop off. It's pretty much a like-for-like replacement. Catch him on the up, and he'll do pretty well. He got a goal last week, or was it the week before? So his attacking threat is on point. Captaincy for this week, is it perma-cap Mo Salah? He's got Wolves and Villa. If you triple captained him last week, how can you not captain him this week? He treated you so well. That's what I think. But yeah, Salah this week, it's a no-brainer. Wolves and Villa. Watkins does have Ipswich and Villa, so potentially there's more upside there, especially if Villa get the upset against Liverpool. We've seen that Liverpool do have some defensive fragilities, we'll call it. However, there is an injury concern on Watkins. He is their talisman, so it's 50-50 on this one for me. Kluivert, if you want to completely forget about the double game week in total, Kluivert has the best fixture in the Premier League away to Southampton. He is in pens and he smashes that box every chance he gets and scores lots of goals while doing it. The reason why I put James McAtee here from City, not to rub it in City's face about how crap they've been recently, but he's leading a table for the first time in an extended period of time. So I think it's first time ever, probably. So give the man his dues. He'll be gone next week. 1.1 goals per 90 minutes. John Duran is 1.01. He's gone to Saudi. That won't change. So he's played enough minutes to continue on this table. Mr. Ethan is at 0.95 and Mo Salah 0.93. Very interesting. So Alexander Isak's points 90 minute or goals per 90 is higher than Haaland. And Chris Wood's catching Haaland as well. We see down the bottom there, Justin Kluivert is catching people. So if he goes on a run, expect him to run up that table there. Differentials for this week. You've heard all these names. They're not really different. The only difference is less than 10% of people own them. So if you want to get a leg up, this could be a way in. Mateta. Okay, Everton in game week 25. Everton have just come off probably their biggest game of the season and the biggest game of the last decade. Their last ever game at Goodison. They drew a last-minute goal. Tarkowski, top bins, but last-minute equaliser. It was actually an injury time. They should be celebrating now, but there'll be a come-down no matter what. So I expect Palace pretty much to run riot at home at Selhurst Park. Mateta is also the number one XG forward for the last 6 game weeks. Rashford. Now, this is a punt, but I hope he doesn't make me look like something that rhymes with that. But Rashford, double game week, Ipswich and Liverpool. He could be the striker against Ipswich, and he could be on pens if they rest Ollie Watkins, depending on how bad his injury is. That's why you need to consider Rashford. Who else do they have? Daniel Mellon is more of a wide 10 style player. Asensio doesn't play up top. Can Rashford do it? I don't think so. Sorry, can Rodgers do it? I don't think so. So if they have to rest him, Rashford looks to be a striker. Szoboszlai, the Wolves and Everton, he's still under 10% owns. That shouldn't say Everton, that should say Villa. He is the key to their attack. Under the slot system, they need someone in his position, the attacking midfielder position. The 10 is the British people call it. But he is the key to their system. And we can see why he's been playing much better this season. A lot of this is down to Mo Salah, but they are 11 goals ahead of the rest of the pack. And they scored 2 more since this has been done as well. So that should be 61. They are smashing it. They are 20 goals ahead of Bournemouth. And we've all been saying how great Bournemouth have been in terms of scoring goals this season. So just food for thought there in terms of bringing in your Liverpool assets. I brought in McAllister last week, 2 weeks ago, and he paid off and got me a goal. So anyone can score. FPL Challenge. I've started putting this in these slides just because I think it's a bit of fun. It's essentially a free hit each week when they let you play 10 or 11 players. Sometimes you play 4. That's frustrating. It's annoying. So it's a throwaway week. But this week, I've got 3 Liverpool, 3 Villa, and Emery. My captain is Watkins. I've got Kluivert, Mateta in there as well. And the other single game week is our defense, Gabriel and Kirkez. So it's a bit of fun. Give it a crack if you want. If not, then just tell me to shut up. That's fine. All right, so this week, this is my team for this week for game week 25, the double. A bit of gloating. I got 149 points last week. I played the assistant manager chip. I captained Salah. For those who triple captained and got those 80 points just off that, congratulations. That is amazing. McAllister came through for me. Munoz got double figures. Mateta got double figures. Wood got double figures for me. So I did really well last week. The actual letdown was my 3 Newcastle. So, like usual, I have had an adverse reaction to failure, and I've got rid of those 2 Newcastle players except Isak. So Hall and Gordon are out, and I've brought in Huijsen and Kluivert. These guys got really hard names to pronounce. It's frustrating. Huijsen? I think his name starts with D. I'm going to call him Dave. Anyway, so I brought in Dave and Patrick. Sorry, Justin. Brought in Dave and Justin. I think they'll do me well pretty much until, I don't know, until game week 34. I think they're going to go in my team, barring injury. Here's where I stack up. I've got Pickford in goal. He needs to pull his britches up, but I think it'll be a tough one. Pickford for me stays until game week 29. I talk about this a lot not a lot, but I do touch on it on my transfer plans video. He'll stay until game week 29. And then I've got to transfer him out, probably for Nick Pope till the end of the season. One of the things that really frustrates me about my planning is I had Fabianski purely for the money. I mean, I never really thought I was going to have to play him, but it's purely for the money. But now he doesn't play. It ruins my bench boost. So I need to, like a fool, I really need to spend a transfer on a bloke who I don't want to play any games. It's just so frustrating on my backup goalkeeper. Otherwise, I guess I could take my own advice and think that, well, would I spend 4 points, which is like a transfer's worth? Do I think he's going to get that? And depending on the game week, he might not, but we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I don't have as many chips left as people. I've already pulled my wild card. I've played my triple captain. I'm using Arseman now. I've got bench boost and I've got free hit. So I'm going to say free hit to the blank, which I think is 34, and bench boost. I've forecasted my points from game week 30 to 38, and each one of those game weeks bench boost was, considering what team I could get to without using chips, was in between 13 and 18 points. So it wasn't that much of a variation. That being said, it's definitely not going to be this week. I know some people prefer to do it in a double game week, while others do it in a single and do really well. I've got Ahmad, Mazraoui, both away to Tottenham. I expect Spurs to score. And I've got Murillo away to Fulham. I expect Fulham to score. So I don't really think it's optimal for those three. But as I said, I got Pickford in goal. I've got Munoz at home. I'm looking for another big haul. Thanks, buddy. Vandenberg, he's 4.2. He was an enabler, but it's working. I've got Huijsen and Kluivert, Huijsen, whatever, who cares. Palmer away to Brentford. If he doesn't score against their weak defense, then he might be on the chopping block. Salah's the captain at home to at home to Wolves, away to Villa. McAllister's got the same fixtures. This is his last week in my team before Brian Mbeumo comes in. Mateta's at home to Everton. I expect 2 more goals. Thanks, Jean-Philippe. Woody away to Fulham. I don't actually want him to score against my team, but he's playing so easy and carefree. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't put it past him to get a goal and get a lazy 7 or 8 points. And Isak away to City. Yeah, I think he's going to have fun. I think he's going to do damage. Him and Gordon are probably going to link up pretty well. I just didn't want Gordon in my team because he was my easy route out of Kluivert, and I want to keep him mad and Mazraoui for that blank game week 29. Same with Murillo. So it was really Gordon had to go. He was probably going to go next week anyway. So why not take him this week when he's away to the champions? It just makes sense to me. That's my team. That's how I stack up. Hopefully your team's looking really good this week as well, and hopefully your benching headaches aren't too crazy. Thank you for tuning in. I've tried some new stats over the last couple of game weeks. I hope you're enjoying them. If you are, please let me know. Also, let me know. Drop me a DM if you want to about any other stats you're interested in, and I'll try and see if I can put them in here. But that's all from me for game week 25. Good luck. Hope your differential score hat tricks and your arrows are green. Have a good game week, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much.